Hey Singapore, this is WWE superstar Seth Rollins, and you are listening to the guys on 938 Live Sports.
From 938 Live.
This is Formula One driver Fernando Alonso.
Hi Singapore, I'm Jürgen Klinsmann.
Hi, I'm Martin Tyler.
This is Annika Sorensen.
Hi Singapore, this is Johnny Wilson. You're locked on to the best in sports. Cheers.
You're listening to Singapore's longest running and only sports talk show on radio, 16 years and still going strong. A good Saturday to you and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Raj Kumar. And today it's all about the billion-dollar video gaming industry. This is our fourth and final esports-related show of the year. And I have three studio guests and we'll be talking about the coolest and most exciting games in the market today. So it's a chance for you to pick up some tips for Christmas presents or even to reward your kids for a job well done in their examinations. And besides video games, we'll also chat about mobile gaming and the massive growth in multiplayer online gaming or even watching for that matter. And we'll probably touch on the support of for gamers in Singapore, whether they have enough support from the industry or even from the government. So we'll try and touch a little bit on that. Plus, in the spirit of the holiday season, we have more than $600 worth of prizes to be given away, courtesy of our friends from Sega, Activision, Microsoft, and EA or Electronic Arts. For the Xbox One gaming console, we are giving away 2 sets of prizes, with each set having a copy of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare plus Halo, the Master Chief Collection. So that's in one contest. And in our second contest for the PlayStation 4 gamers, we'll be giving away 2 sets which include a copy of Alien Isolation, the Nostromo edition, along with Dragon Age Inquisition. And 4 sets of prizes to be won. And if you can only take part today if you have not won any prizes on SportsZone since the 1st of October. So remember, if you won prizes since the 1st of October, you cannot take part today. On that note, let's hear from our 3 studio guests. Jonathan Leo is back in the house, and John is now with Gumi Asia. He's also one of our regular guests when it comes to esports. We also have Michael Koo, who's a freelance gaming journalist from Take-Two. And from Take-Two Asia, we have Albert Holzmer. Thanks, guys, for joining us on our very last esports show of the year. John, let's first start with you. And which is the latest game that's been keeping you busy?
Oh, that's easy. Apart from the game that we're doing right now, Chain Chronicle, which is already out this week, I've also been, relaxing with a bit of Dragon Age Inquisition, which we will be talking about later. That's correct?
Chain Chronicle, of course, is by Gumi.
Yeah, Gumi and Sega Networks as well.
Okay. Michael, how about yourself? Which game has been keeping you at night of late?
I've been losing myself in Azeroth, playing World of Warcraft, their latest expansion.
Wow.
Then I'm also bouncing between Star Wars as well, because they recently released Shadow of Revan.
For the PC?
Yeah, for the PC. So it's a lot of time sinks.
Were you, being a fan of Warcraft, were you at the recent 10th anniversary party at Zook?
Yeah, I was one of those people in the crowd.
That was a rocket party, actually.
Yeah. So you guys were at Zook while... I think 32,000 of us were at the National Stadium rooting for Singapore and Thailand. So and we lost. So okay, that's a different story. Albert, how has the reception been for WWE 2K15? Considering that this title is part of Take-Two Asia as well as 2K Games.
I think it's very positive. I think gamers are just excited to be able to actually play WWE in the current generation consoles. The PS4 and the Xbox One. Yeah, I think it's exciting to actually be a WWE fan at this time, because the game has never looked this good before. Bigger, better, brighter, and the realism is just and I believe you have one or two of your colleagues who are in Malaysia right now doing a gig with the Malaysian WWE fans. Yeah, that's true. It's part of the IGN thing that they're doing. So, yeah. Interesting.
I've also been really busy setting up this commercial on AXN and Animax, this Brave Frontier commercial. We're actually trying to relaunch things here and there. Okay. So that's been keeping my time apart from playing games.
So it's already on air?
Yeah, it's on air right now as we speak. Yeah.
Awesome.
Looking good.
Yeah. Let's start talking about our featured games for today's show, and we lead with Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Jonathan, would you agree that this is a dream come true for all Halo fans?
It is actually. It's a very big collection spanning from the Halo 1s all the way to Halo 4, if I recall. That also includes Reach as well, if I recall. I believe Albert here is a pretty big Halo fan, so I'll let him take point in this part.
Yeah, that's I'm a big Halo fan. I played every single game that came out.
So this particular collection comprises Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, it's called the Master Chief Collection, so it'll only collect all of the Halo games that star Master Chief, obviously.
Okay, but which of the 4 that you played, and which is your personal favorite of the 4 that you played?
Of the 4 of Master Chief Collection, I would say Halo 2, but then there's other Halo games that I enjoyed as well, which is Halo Reach and Halo 3 ODST.
Oh, Reach is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reach is one of
Okay,
the best.
let's get Michael, for the benefit of those who might not be familiar with the storyline of Halo, which is of course exclusive with the Xbox brand. Could you summarize the Halo legacy?
The Halo Legacy. Well, it's your typical humans versus aliens, and as humans, we tend to like to defend our planet if someone is after it. Although we ourselves kind of aren't treating it very well.
Yeah.
So what sets Halo apart is actually this guy called the Master Chief and his AI companion Cortana. So he is like your typical full-on testosterone packed hero who goes on and takes down the whole army of aliens. And I think a lot of people, or rather gamers, they tend to identify with that as awesome and cool.
So does he have a squad with him?
No, it doesn't. It's just one man.
He's a one-man
one
army.
AI.
One-man army.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think one of the more interesting things about Halo was that when it first released on the Xbox, it actually proved to the world that you can have a fun FPS game even with a gamepad control.
FPS, of course, first-person shooter.
That's right.
Okay. John, this exclusive game for the Xbox is retailing at around $70 since its launch a few weeks ago, and it allows the buyer to be able to try out the Halo 5 Guardians beta, which is available just after Christmas. What have you heard about Halo 5?
Not much from the story apart from Master Chief. We might actually have another protagonist helping or probably hindering him out. And for the multiplayer side, I believe there's a spectator mode, so that they're trying to focus more on the esports part for Halo 5, so that the rest of the community for the FPS side, they can actually get in on it and hopefully can grow into something bigger in the MLG or even like other sports leagues for esports.
Michael, would you like to see Halo one day being released for all of the gaming consoles?
Well, that is a far-fetched wish, but I would say that PlayStation players would definitely pick it. I mean, it is one of the better FPS games.
Yeah, but that would mean
console.
that you need 2 consoles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose, but I don't think that would stop any gamer from buying, to be honest. And I would definitely love to see it on the PC.
Okay. Albert, final words on this Master Chief collection, or even on Halo 5?
I think it's a great collection, and this is your only way to actually get into the Halo 5 beta, which is going to be amazing. And as John pointed out, this is going to be centered around esports, which is not the first time that any console game did this. I mean, Black Ops 2 had the same thing. So.
You're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live, and today our focus is on esports and cybergaming. And with me in the studio are 3 gaming experts in Michael Koo, Albert Holzmar, and Jonathan Leo. Albert, let's turn our focus now to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which is published by Activision. And have you been impressed with this latest installment of the COD franchise?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Advanced Warfare. It is actually the first time that Call of Duty did something radically different. Usually in terms of like movement, it's always been fairly the same, whether it's a Treyarch game or Infinity Ward game of the Call of Duty franchise. But this time around, it's they're putting exosuits and everything changed in terms of how you move, how you play online.
More fluid movement, you would say.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Jonathan, I saw recently on the BBC, a story was on how the US military is also working with the creators of Call of Duty to assist in their current training aspects. What are your thoughts on that collaboration?
I think that's really good. Like the fact that game developers are going all the way out to make sure that whatever subject matter they're tackling has to be as accurate and as realistic as possible. I can't say much about Advanced Warfare because that's a sci-fi take. But for the other Call of Duties like Black Ops or Modern Warfare and Part 1 and Part 2, they really do their research, which is good. I believe they actually go to the actual historians who actually have dusted these guns out and tell these people how it works and everything. So accuracy is very important, especially when portraying something as military focused as Call of Duty.
Michael, how did you find playing COD Advanced Warfare, and which part of the game appeals to you most?
Well, just to chime in a bit on what John actually said, I know that the Call of Duty franchise has always been able to use the future concepts of what military has and to put it in their game to kind of make people see what's actually what the army could be.
Yeah.
So when you talk about going forward like advanced warfare and you talk about exosuits and all that stuff, it's actually pretty awesome. Because to me, even when I play the game, I find the exosuit movement a lot of fun.
Okay. It's not really as far-fetched considering the research they've done. So whatever you see in Advanced Warfare might happen. Yeah, might.
Staying with you, John, Kevin Spacey, Oscar-winning actor, is the voice talent of the CEO of Atlas, which is a private military contractor in the game. How much of an impact did the Oscar-winning star have on this game?
He did have a lot. He's actually one of the main focuses in the game itself. I won't spoil anything because he's integral to the story, but I can say that because of his credibility as the previous actor, like in Usual Suspects, and the current show is in House of Cards, which I really love watching a lot, by the way. I would say that he adds a lot of credibility as in the story parts of Advanced Warfare.
Okay. Albert, we'll let you have the last word. Is this the best military-style game in the market today, considering there's the Battlefield franchise by EA as well, or is it the best for the moment?
I think they're both different games. Call of Duty and Battlefield, they're both different games. I mean, they're both did amazing for their target audience. I mean, for Call of Duty, it's always been about closed, tighter maps, and it's all about individual skill and your twitch ability. But for Battlefield, for example, it's open-ended like a map. You have large maps. You have 64 players, and it's all class-based, vehicle-based.
It's a squad.
Exactly. Yeah. It's completely different, and they're two of the best military-style game in the market right now.
All right, time to do our first phone-in contest, and two winners will win one copy each for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare plus Halo, the Master Chief Collection, and this is for the Xbox One playing console. So remember, you're calling to win these two games for the Xbox One playing console, and you can only take part today if you have not won prizes on SportsZone since the 1st of October. So if you're ready, tell me the answer to this question. How many games make up the Halo Master Chief Collection? How many games make up the Halo Master Chief Collection? We talked about it a few minutes ago. Call now 66-911-938. 66-911-938. How many games make up the Halo Master Chief Collection? It's a number from 1 to 10. Jonathan, let's turn the focus now to another franchise. I'm referring to Alien Isolation, published by Sega and released in Singapore on all major consoles except the Xbox 360. What is the storyline behind this latest addition to the Alien saga?
Well, you control Amanda Ripley, the daughter of Ellen Ripley from the first film.
Yeah.
And
who's played by Sigourney Weaver, of course.
Yeah. And you want to actually find out what happened to your mom in another ship. I'm not sure what this new ship is called, the Sevastopol. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But what this game does is basically capture what makes Alien good as a movie. Its scariness, its atmosphere, everything. So you control her as you navigate through this isolated colony, and you have this one alien in that particular colony chasing you down, hunting you down, everything. So if you basically look up the ducts, you probably have your head ripped off and stuff. But the important thing is it actually builds on tension and atmosphere, which I really like about this game. Yeah. And that's what I believe is what's missing from a lot of big budget horror games that I wouldn't want to mention yet. But the important thing is what Sega and Creative, I believe the developers did for this is they took a low budget style of creating a game, put in some high budget value in it, and making sure that it's something like a game like Amnesia or Outlast, like make sure that you are vulnerable to from these aliens and all that, and building up on tension, which what horror films should do in the first place, right?
Okay. Michael, John's already said that it's been branded as a horror thriller game. I'm assuming you've had a hand at you've tried the game.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
And it's very close to what John has said, but just to emphasize more, when you're playing the game, you actually begin to actually hate meeting the alien. Although it's just one, but you have no weapons and there's no way to defend yourself other than to creep around and stuff. And the only thing you can do is probably make a bit of noise here and there so that the alien would run there and then you would start jet off the other direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it intentional that they don't have weapons at the initial start of the game.
It's definitely intentional. I mean, why would you call it a horror thriller if it's not scary at all? And the best way to make a game scary is to make you feel extremely weak. Yeah, especially if you're a girl, and all that.
And especially if you switch off the lights and play it on a 60-inch screen. And
and the sounds and everything, it will just creep up on you.
It just takes you as if you are in the game itself. Michael, Albert, how did you find the authenticity of the alien creature and its realism in the game?
I think it's very authentic how dynamic the alien AI is. You don't know what's going to happen. You walk into a room, the tension's there. You don't know when the alien's going to come through the door or creep up behind you. It's remarkable at how complex games are designed these days. Like AI is part of what makes a game really good. Like when you want to shoot someone and then that person ducks, behind a cover, like that's what makes a game great, in my opinion.
We've got a few more questions on Alien Isolation, but before that, time to announce our contest winners. I asked you a few minutes ago how many games are included in the new Halo Master Chief Collection. The answer, of course, is 4. So congratulations to Cassandra May and Tam Sao Ling. Congratulations to Cassandra and Sao Ling. You've each won for yourself a copy of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare plus Halo the Master Chief Collection. Both are retailing at around $70 each, and Halo, of course, being exclusive to the Xbox console. So for more details, you can go online to callofduty.com or halowaypoint.com. That's halowaypoint.com. And these prizes are courtesy of our friends from Microsoft as well as Activision. Coming back to Alien Isolation, Jonathan, I'm sure you can't wait to tell us about the Nostromo edition of the game, which we are giving away just after the news headlines. What's different between the Nostromo edition and the normal edition?
I believe the Nostromo edition actually has an extra mission where Ellen Ripley herself and her crew, some who are still alive, are exploring the Nostromo itself to find out what's actually going on. So it's basically just a bonus level for everyone to check out compared to the standard. And
when we say the extra edition, it does include the voice of Sigourney Weaver.
That's correct.
Tom Skerritt also comes back. Basically, the cast, who made the movie in 1979. I think they managed to bring back most of the original cast,
like a reunion tour.
Which is really cool for those who love the Alien franchise and of course for the gaming industry as well. Michael, the last game to this franchise was Aliens: Colonial Marines. Which was released in 2013. Between that and this new version, how would you compare the two? I can see everybody laughing.
It's comparing orange and apple.
Yeah, it's a pity. Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Everyone was very excited for Colonial Marines when it released, and the demo was fantastic, But when the game came out, it kind of didn't match up to it in that sense.
Yeah.
But comparing the two games, Colonial Marines is a lot more actiony. To be honest, I completed the game, so I know.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, surprisingly. So Colonial Marines is a lot more actiony, whereas Isolation is literally isolation. You're alone and you're in the dark. At times when I play the game, I'll be like, okay, that's it. I'm just gonna shut off my PC. I don't want to play this anymore.
It's survival horror, right?
Yeah, so it is. Yeah.
But okay, so of course that was our take on Alien Isolation, published by Sega. Time now for the news headlines, and when we return, we'll have more prizes to give away for the PlayStation 4 console and more tips for you on which games you should be getting this holiday season. So stay tuned to SportsZone right here on 938 Live.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Hey Singapore, this is WWE Superstar, the Game Triple H, and you're listening to the best in sports on 938
Live. It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control.
Welcome back to part 2 of Sports Zone on 938 Live. I'm the Raj Man, and today we turn the spotlight on cyber sports and e-gaming. And joining me are 3 guests in the studio, and they are Jonathan Leo, who's with Gumi Asia. We also have Michael Koo, who's a freelance gaming journalist. And from Take-Two Asia, we have Albert Holzma. Take-Two Asia and 2K Games, of course, behind the highly successful Borderlands series, Grand Theft Auto, the WWE 2K, and NBA 2K franchises as well. And in the first half of the show, we talked about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, together with Halo, the Master Chief Collection, plus the new Alien Isolation, which is published by Sega. Let's now talk about Dragon Age Inquisition. And with the Hobbit trilogy coming to a glorious end when the Battle of the Five Armies opens in cinemas next week, this Dragon Age game by Electronic Arts, or EA, is a very timely release. Albert, this is a fantasy role-playing game, and this is the third in the series. Have you tried out Dragon Age Inquisition, otherwise known as DAI for short?
I'll be honest, I have not played the game. However, I'm a big fan of Dragon Age Origins, and I am looking forward to actually jump in to Dragon Age Inquisition now.
Origins was the
first game. The very first game.
It's about 2009. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. What do you remember from that particular storyline?
It's just dynamic storytelling. Like you get to pick who lives and who dies and who you romance with towards the end of the game. So
okay.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you find compelling about this third installment in comparison to its two predecessors in the last 5 years?
Well, the third installment really showed how much BioWare has learned from the past two games. Like, when you look at Dragon Age Origins, the very first one, there was a lot of... it was very much sandbox, and you could do whatever you want and decide who your character should be, and just as what Albert has said. In Dragon Age 2, there was a change where you now have to play this guy called Garrett Hogg. And the story was pretty much very linear, and the choices that you did were a little bit near, and most people weren't taking it very well. And so when Dragon Age Inquisition came out, they kind of merged the two together. So there's a bit of Dragon Age 2, and then there's a bit of Dragon Age Origins in it. And while some people still can't get the idea of it, there's still a lot of customization that you can do with this game. Yeah.
Jonathan, in a follow-up question for the benefit of those who might not be familiar with this franchise, could you shed some light on the storyline, following up on what Michael just said?
Yeah, sure. So Dragon Age Inquisition pits you as a person who suddenly got this power to actually close different kind of fate rifts in the sky. And because of this calamity that's happening...
This kind of what, sorry?
Calamity, a fate rift.
Okay.
So from this fate rift, you have to close it with your hands and everything with your special powers that you just got. So what you have to do in this quest, this entire world quest in the whole of Ferelden, is you have to close... Thedas, the main world. You have to close all these rifts by forming this Inquisition group. So you have to recruit a lot of people on your side, whether they're former enemies or old friends and whatnot, to help close this impending catastrophe from happening.
So it's you don't have to take on the armies of, like you said, Thedas alone.
Actually, yeah, you won't be doing it alone, of course. But of course, in actual Thedas, there are actually different factions, like the Freemen and some people in Orlais, to actually oppose the Inquisition for the ideals and everything, especially the Templars and the Mages. There's an ongoing war going on there. So you actually have to unite everyone together against this common evil, which is a really good kind of unity story going on as well.
Albert, you've not had a chance to play the game, so I'm going to ask Michael this question. This is a game which expects the main player to take the lead, so how does one actually accomplish that objective?
So in BioWare's style, you have conversations, and you get to choose which ones, and each option of the conversation that you choose when you talk to characters and players, it actually defines the paths that you take.
Okay.
In that sense.
Yep. And there's also a big emphasis on open world gameplay. Like if you select the map after you set up your campaign, you go inside one area, either in Orlais or Ferelden. You get to pick which stage you want, and then you get to explore everything from there. So from there, you can uncover new quests to build up power to actually take on bigger campaigns, and also decide who you want to talk to and how you want to actually set the story's course at. So that, like Michael and Albert said, there's actually a merge between Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. So for the Part 2 it's the action bit where everything's done in real time. You get to command how your units attack and everything, but at the same time it feels very actiony in a sense. But the Origins part is basically on the storytelling and the open world of everything. Like you can tackle one part in one time, and you can go through a story part in another as well. So all in all, it's a pretty good epic experience.
Also, if you want to know how detailed the choices are, if you actually pick the big race, the Kunari, as your main character, people around you will be like, "Whoa, you're huge," that kind of thing. Yeah, it's quite funny actually.
Okay. And how do you find the overall single player gaming experience? And do you get to fight the dragons in the end?
So in Dragon Age, the single player experience, if you actually pick the extremely difficult. The extreme difficulty, it's really tough.
Okay.
Like, you really have to plan out what to do, what each of your party members are capable of, and actually pulling out the skills in combo so that you don't mess up.
Okay.
Because one mistake and that's it. If one character dies, it's just a mess after that.
I haven't started on the game yet, but so Just,
Do
I mean,
kill dragons?
spoiler, yeah, straight. Do you fight the dragons in the end?
Yes, finally. I mean, as compared to Dragon Age 2, you only could fight one.
Okay.
In the new Dragon Age,
Quite a number,
there are
actually.
quite a
Quite a
lot,
number.
and you have to find out. I'm not going to spoil it for everyone
okay.
here, but yeah, you have to hunt them down actually.
All right then. Yeah, perfect timing because the Hobbit trilogy opens next week. All right, time to do our second phone-in contest, and 2 winners will win 1 copy each for Alien Isolation plus Dragon Age Inquisition, and this is for the PlayStation 4 gaming console. So remember, you're calling to win these 2 games for the PS4 console, and you can only take part today if you've not won prizes on SportsZone since the 1st of October or in the last 10 minutes. So if you're ready, tell me the answer to this question. Which is the name of the company which published Alien Isolation? Which is the name of the company which published Alien Isolation? Is it Ubisoft, Sega, Warner Brothers, or Atari? Ubisoft, Sega, Warner Brothers, or Atari? Call now 66911938. Which is the name of the company which published Alien Isolation? Let's move on and talk about Grand Theft Auto with Albert. And how do you find the 5th installation of the game, Albert?
I think GTA 5 is, obviously it's the, 5 is the number that you actually put in front of your game, and of course, it's going to be miles better than the 4th installation, and it is a different city as well. Like, to some of you who have ever played GTA San Andreas, this is going to be in the same city as well.
For the benefit of those who are not familiar with the franchise, what is GTA about, briefly?
It is an open world action game. It's also got a complex narrative, and you play multiple characters for the very first time in the franchise.
And what do? You go around stealing cars?
Yeah, it's that's the like what the name implies. Yes,
yeah.
You do. You can steal cars, and you can steal airplanes as well, and choppers and whatnot.
Sounds like a Nicolas Cage movie that we all know. What was it?
Drive Angry, right?
No, I think something
Gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, Gone in 60 seconds. Yeah. What is different about this version as opposed to GTA 4, perhaps?
Well, the number's different, and GTA 5 is just bigger, better, and it's. It's a different city, different protagonist. Back in GTA 4, you play Nico Bellic, in Liberty City.
Yeah.
In GTA 5, you actually play 3 different characters and see how their story unfolds and how they all come together.
Is this game still viewed by some conservative types as too violent, or it sends the wrong message to the younger gamers?
I think. When you view the video game industry, I think it's the same with every single medium. I think, if you think about how music is offensive to some people, it's the same thing. Whereas like some movies or some religious movies may be offensive to a certain group of people, and I think that's the same thing with the video game industry. And if you are offended by it, simply do not buy it.
It's got a age classification.
Yes,
thing?
it is. It is mature rated, and it is a mature rated title. And I hope parents make a decision not to buy this for their kids that's not old enough to play it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Michael, is GTA 5 right up your alley, and why?
So GTA is not the kind of game that I usually play, because I'm not really a fan of the sandbox title, but I am actually giving GTA 5 as an exception, only because the story is actually pretty good. And
which feature do you like about the game?
The character switching is actually very interesting, because although you might imagine that it could be a very jarring idea that you're playing 3 different characters at one go, and they probably had 3 different stories, but when they all come together, it actually makes a lot of sense. Like when the 3 of them are actually working together to either do a heist or something like that. It makes so much sense. It's actually extremely seamless.
I think somewhere in there is a movie in the making. Like you never know. One of these Hollywood types will just take it to the next level and do a similar version like Fast and Furious, but maybe more violent. Jonathan, your take on this latest version from Take-Two Asia?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, if you like GTA 5, if you want to replay it in a first-person perspective and want to see it in a 60 frame per second thing, it's actually ideal, But, of course, for those who haven't played it, it's actually a good entry point, considering that there's so much they've added in Grand Theft Auto 5 in this new version.
Okay, of course, Grand Theft Auto 5 is by Take-Two Asia, and Time now to announce the contest winners. A few minutes ago, I asked you, tell me the name of the company which published Alien Isolation, and the answer, of course, is Sega. So congratulations to Joe Ang and Raymond Leong. Joe and Raymond, you've each won for yourself a copy of Alien Isolation, the Nostromo edition, plus Dragon Age Inquisition. This is for the PlayStation 4 gaming console. Both are retailing around $60 to $70 each. For more details, you can go online to www.alienisolation.com or dragonage.com. And these prizes are courtesy of our friends from Sega as well as Electronic Arts. Coming back to you, Jonathan, let's turn the focus briefly to mobile gaming.
Yes.
And you have something to share with us about Gumi and their latest offering of Chain Chronicle.
Yeah, that's correct. Chain Chronicle is actually a JRPG for the mobile phones. That's for iOS and Android.
JRPG is
Japanese RPG.
Okay, Japanese RPG, role-playing game. Yeah.
So what your objective is, basically you have a motley crew of party members, like led by the hero, led by a fairy, and of course a girl with amnesia carrying this mysterious book, as you go around the world of Yggdra to stop this black army from conquering the entire world and destroying it. So of course you have to recruit people in the volunteer army, like lots of characters from taverns here and there, get heroes to combat these guys. Now the gameplay, it's like, how do you say, it's like a 3x3 grid, and you have enemies coming in from the left. You have to defend the right side from enemies using your units of knights, soldiers, archers, wizards, and clerics as well. Like, they all have different abilities. Like, the soldier can actually attack head on, while the knights can actually block projectiles from enemies throwing fireballs and whatnot. So that's pretty much what you do in the game, like combat a lot of enemies, go on different quests combating these enemies, and recruiting these characters while trying to figure out what the story is. Now, the special thing about this is the characters itself, like the characters recruit, they have different storylines, like ranging from a klutzy wizard to a very power-hungry kind of knight character, or even a backstory of a knight who used to be in an orphanage. So if you like anime and if you like a lot of like character development, this is the game for you, especially on the mobile circuit.
On mobile circuit is in mobile
phone. Like mobile space.
Yeah. Do you have to pay to play Chain Chronicle on your phone? If so, what exactly are you paying for?
Well, that's the thing about free-to-play games. Like, you don't actually have to pay if you don't want to. You can actually play the game as is, or if you want to speed up certain processes, you can actually get to pay for the prismas in-game, and then you get to use those prismas to actually collect characters.
Albert, what's your take on mobile gaming on the whole? Is it catered or appealing to a certain group of gamers only, or?
No, I think mobile gaming is a very interesting space. This is the only platform where you can play Bejeweled, Candy Crush, and Grand Theft Auto.
Oh.
And it is
on the go as well too.
And it's on the go. It's a great system.
Yeah, like, it really depends on the developer whether you're given a choice. Like, certain companies, they do free-to-play wrong, while other companies do it right. So it really depends on the game design itself. Yeah, so you don't want to... the best kind of free-to-play games are the ones where you're happy to actually give money to it, because at the end of the day, life does not give you freebies.
Yeah.
I mean, the free-to-play game is more of a concept rather than an actual thing per se. Like, all games will have to cost money anyway. It's just a matter of whether you want to pay now or you want to pay later. And in our case, for Chain Chronicle, you can pay later if you want. It's really up to you. If you like the game, support it. If you don't like it, then that's fine too.
Michael, which in your opinion is the best game to play on the mobile phone today?
That is a really hard question, because it depends on the kind of games that you like playing on your mobile phone. Some people take just a while. They want like 5 minutes of fun, 10 minutes of fun on the bus, in the bathroom, that kind of thing. Or some, they want like a long stretch, like JRPGs and so on. Personally, for me, I like card games. So obviously I play Hearthstone and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Time now for a traffic update, and when we return, we'll talk about the concept of massive multiplayer online content. So time now for Traffic Watch.
What's up, Singapore? It's the most must-see WWE superstar of all time, The Miz, and you are listening to the guys on 938 Live Sports, and it is awesome.
Welcome back to the final stretch on SportsZone with Albert, Michael, Jonathan, and me, Raj Kumar. Albert, let's talk about what Amazon are doing in terms of their acquisition of a good game. What exactly are they planning to do with a good game?
Like a good game, for some of us that don't know, it's basically an esports sponsor company. Like last time we heard about Twitch just got bought over by Amazon. So I think they're very, very serious about their video game industry. I mean, they're not just there to sell books, right? I mean, they're selling video games as well. So obviously, it's getting bigger for them.
Michael, does it make sense for them to be spending up to $1 billion when they acquired Twitch in September, and then now a talent agency in competitive gaming? Twitch, of course, is a video gaming website where people can go in and watch other people play.
That's right. And when you look at the amount of people in Twitch and who they are, they're mostly gamers, and people who stream on Twitch attract more gamers. So you can imagine the amount of eyeballs that's just converging in that one space. And when you think about it as good game sponsors, esports teams and stuff like that, it chimes in together where gamers and gamers actually come together. So it would look like Amazon is trying to do a full on ownership of that space itself.
Okay. Jonathan, apparently in the United States there are hundreds of college students who are gaming online and winning prize money to pay for their tuition or university fees. Have you heard of this latest phenomenon?
I just heard about it right now, and apparently it's pretty interesting that with this culture, because it's very widely accepted culture in US since the Nintendo and the Atari days. So it's not really a stretch that people are actually doing this right now, like just going through college. If you want to pay for the tuition fees, they have to be really good at particular games, like fighting games especially, because that's where a lot of the price pot can go. It can get bigger.
So technically speaking, you would say that gaming in the US is now becoming a major culture norm among the youth and the current generation, so much so that sponsors and companies are willing to spend millions on paying gamers to play, compete, and even endorsements.
Yeah, pretty much. It's so big that even Conan O'Brien is actually doing a segment about games as well.
Just to actually add in also, like when we talk about what they're competing and what they're fighting for, the last Dota 2 tournament had almost $10 million in prize money. The winners could get actually $5 million if they were top prize. That's $1 million per player.
Which brings me to my next related question. Dota, of course, is known as Defense of the Ancients. So there is a recent story of 5 teenage Singaporean gamers who call themselves First Departure. They advanced to the finals of the Summit 2, which is one of about 10 large-scale tournaments for Dota. Dota 2, of course. The Singapore team beat 11 other teams to emerge champions in Southeast Asia. But they've missed the chance to pit their skills against teams from the United States, China and Europe, and a shot at $400,000 in prize money because 2 of the players were not allowed to go as the tournament was leading up or clashing with their exams in poly, while a third member of the team could not secure a leave of absence from national service. So let's go around the table, get your thoughts very quickly on this issue, starting with you, Jonathan. Is there enough of support for gamers in Singapore, especially if they possess the talent to compete on the world stage?
Well, at this point in time, it's really hard to say. On the one hand, a lot of developers have been getting a lot of support from the government, but at the same time for this, I still believe they still have that old school mentality of thinking that maybe gaming is something that shouldn't be like an esports pastime, which I completely disagree in a sense, as a gamer, as someone who follows the esports scene.
Yeah.
And I do believe that sometimes a change of mindset should happen. Like, they should have some support regardless. So, like, they can just probably skip the NS and all that so that they can actually compete, represent the country to do the best they can, especially if it's something as worldwide as a Dota tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys have other opinions?
Albert?
Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate when a chance of a lifetime like this could actually happen to represent your country. You want it to be there, to compete with the best of the best in the world, and you're carrying Singapore name behind your back. Like, you want to represent that, and it is just unfortunate they can't go.
Michael.
Well, there are actually many limitations right now. Like, if you actually watch the last this YouTube movie called Free to Play, there was also another incident where a team had a really hard time trying to get there from Singapore as well, but they actually did, and they came back, like, I think third. So with regards to this First Departure, I can see where the problem lies, and at the time it's like the whole society in general is just not ready at this moment. But as more of us who grow up as gamers and we start to see like this is actually a viable thing to be a representative for a country, I think things will start to change then. Especially
when even recently there was a convention after so long. We had Game Start, which was at Suntec City for 2 days. 12,000 they attracted 12,000 people, surpassed the target of by 2,000. So I think, and there's a Dota tournament that's going to take place in Suntec, I believe, in 2 weeks from now. I think GameStar is coming back bigger and better in 2015. So
we're not giving up in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good start. It's a good start. So, a good revolution of sorts.
So maybe, John, you can very quickly summarize if the authorities or whoever, what do they need to do? I mean, to strike a compromise with, if you want to support the gamers.
I guess you just have to be a bit more supportive, but that's pretty much. I mean, just keep an open ear and just consider the fact that esports is actually a big thing that's already grown, cultivated in the US and Europe. But in Asia, that's just something they need to actually take a first step in to make sure that we recognize the importance. Let's just put some backing into it with the right people, of course, with the right mindset, everything to make it grow and cultivate, and just go from there. Maybe Michael, you have other words to say in that sense?
No, actually, you kind of got it all in one sentence.
Okay. I'm afraid we're out of time on this special edition of SportsZone. I do hope that you've gained some interesting tips on the games we featured today, as well as more insight into the constantly evolving video gaming industry. A big thank you to our guests in Albert Holzheimer, Michael Koo and Jonathan Leo. And thanks again to our prize sponsors in Sega, Microsoft, EA and Activision. On that note, I'm the Rajman. This has been SportsZone on 938 Live. Bye for now.